All right, so St. Louis Gatekeepers currently sitting in the #2 position for murder rankings. That is based on the July output of rankings. Deep Valley Belligerents are sitting at #8, so this is a huge thing for the Deep Valley Belligerents. They're trying to make those top teams to go to Murda Championships in October. Deep Valley Belligerents sitting out their first line. Mr. Dick is going to function as the pivot. JP the Rockstar. Sloppy Joe. And I think that's Graves. They're going to send in Downer, #28, as the jammer for the Deep Valley Belligerents. And I apologize, going from my roster, there may have been some changes. My apologies. Now we have our officials headed out to the floor. Get ready for this first jam. Again, a big thank you to all the NSOs and all the skating referees that came here to support these MRDA leagues. Neil Death Experience working kind of the inside line with their pivot. Schwego Fed takes a huge hit from Sloppy Joe, #33. We are going to have St. Louis Gatekeepers taking the lead jammer position. First time of this bout in the first period. Downer also clearing the pack as the St. Louis Gatekeepers jammer pulls around last line of defense. Sloppy Joe there calls off the jammer, get a 4 points on the board for the St. Louis Gatekeepers. #82, Percy Control, holding the outside line, going in for a little bit of assist for #11, Debaucherous Prime. Nice shutdown there at the back of the pack on O. Henry, the jammer for Deep Valley Belligerents. Debaucherous Prime slips through on the inside line like a thief in the night. He takes lead jammer position 2 for 2 in favor of the St. Louis Gatekeepers. O. Henry. #73, Sweet Tooth with a nice little shove out on O. Henry. O. Henry then infielded. Recycled way to the back of the pack. He's going to get stuck behind a 2 wall. Sweet Tooth holding the inside lane. And 5150, Incredible Hulk then pushes it way back. They try to thread out the pack. Five more points on the scoreboard for Debaucherous Prime. #33, Sloppy Joe headed to the penalty box for the Deep Valley Belligerents as Debaucherous pulls through for another 4 points. That's going to bring the Gatekeepers to 13. The Deep Valley Belligerents sitting at 0 with 27 minutes, 41 seconds left in the first period. There is the whistle releasing them. Mr. Dick trying to force his way through Zeppelin and number 99, Skulls McCracken. He is going to pull through, taking lead jammer position. First time for the Deep Valley Belligerents. Have a little bit of a slide out there on the far straightaway for Screech Around. A big thank you to Kay's Lounge, a supporter of the Portland Men's Roller Derby Association, and we like that. Sort of working around the facts here. We're gonna have an official timeout, as indicated by the hands to the shoulders. We're going to have 2 blockers per respective team once we get this started. So a little bit of correction. We do have 618 Led Zeppelin skating in this bout. Currently on the floor, though, is Percy Control and number 1, Saint. Cleaning up the track here. A little bit of blood spilt right past the jammer line, so gonna clean it up with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. St. Louis Gatekeepers currently sitting at 13. Deep Valley now on the scoreboard with 3. 26 minutes, 26 seconds left in the first period. Deep Valley Belligerents, while we get started, we'll send in Culture Shock, number 3 as the jammer. And St. Louis Gatekeepers struggling to get through last line of defense there. Mr. Dick and number 13, Graves. We are going to have lead jammer assessed to Culture Shock number 3. So that was 2 for the Gatekeepers, now 2 in a row for the Deep Valley Belligerents. Deep Valley Belligerents trying to shut down the gap. There's a mere 10 points now separating these teams. However, the Gatekeepers doing a really nice job now protecting the points at the front of the pack. And now you watch a lot of speed implemented as they race forward. Going to pile up. Culture Shock hitting the floor. And once he stands up, puts his hands to his hips and calls off the jam. The Gatekeepers currently favoring the wall closest to the jammer. We're gonna have number 28, a Downer, donning the star, going up against Debaucherous Prime. Number 11 for the Gatekeepers, both still struggling to make their way through. Debaucherous Prime initially trying to go through on the inside. He gets shut down on the outside lane, and he's recycled way to the back of the pack. We are gonna have Downer pull through to first. And the lead jammer had already been assessed to Debaucherous Prime, number 11, and he calls off the jam, preventing Downer from putting any points on the scoreboard. Double XL trying to move out Graves, and he's trying to assist his jammer, number 66, Screech Around. Nice work by Percy Controls. He moves it way back, and you'll see the Gatekeepers just spreading out that line as they're trying to keep their skaters in play. Sloppy Joe now rejoining the pivot, trying to stay out in front and maintain position in front of the jammer, Screech Around. Oh, low block penalty now assessed to Screech Around. This is a power jam in favor of Deep Valley. Mr. Dick incurring a penalty. He's headed to the penalty box. And the pivot as well for the Gatekeepers. Oh, nice move by Red Eye Jedi. Oh, about a cutting the track penalty. He's going to sit down. That is going to release Screech Around, number 66. Oh, and all right, so Red Eye Jedi, aka Boy Band, was already standing up, so he served his complete penalty, and now he is back on the track. Power jam now in favor of Deep Valley Belligerents. Huge hit to the infield by Percy Control, number 82, and a no pass, no penalty now for Red Eye Jedi, aka Boy Band. Pack advantage here in favor of the Deep Valley Belligerents with 4-on-2. We have 2 blockers sitting in the penalty box for the Gatekeepers. So that was a 5-point scoring pass there for number 55, Red Eye Jedi, aka Boy Band.
This jam will start the Gatekeepers with 2 in the box. Including their jammer.
So the Gatekeepers currently have a blocker and their jammer sitting in the penalty box. Is another power jam in favor of the Deep Valley Belligerents, but nice move by number 618, Blood Zeppelin.
Great blocking by the Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers now have everybody back in play.
Oh, huge hit out of bounds on it. Oh, Henry. And we have Blood Zeppelin now headed to the penalty box. We do have Screech Around, number 66. He's back in play, but we have O. Henry as he hits the floor right on the straightaway, puts his hands to his hips, calls off the jam for the Deep Valley Belligerents. And that looks like a 5-point scoring pass, so I believe we are at a tied game.
Again, the Gatekeepers have 2 people in the box. Number 3, Culture Shock makes it through.
Huge pile up on turn 1.
Almost.
Culture Shock, number 3, is your lead jammer for the Deep Valley Belligerents. But the Gatekeepers bringing on the heat with number 68, a Batwing. Culture Shock is through on a scoring pass, another 4 points on the scoreboard. Did he call it off in time? He did, just in time to prevent the Gatekeepers from putting any points on the scoreboard. This is now a lead for the Deep Valley Belligerents.
Gatekeepers have 3 in the box. Nope. Correction.
Once
we are on
can
official
start it
timeout.
again, it'll be should I go fet and downer. And this is an official timeout. Tracking penalties, making everything's good to go. And Del from Hale gives the indication that we're set.
Starting this jam, the Gatekeepers have 3 in the box, which leaves 1 blocker to block the jammer. Gatekeepers, jammers still trying to get through the pack. The Deep Valley blockers are blocking very well.
And downer pulled around last line of defense, number 13, Graves. And that's a 5-point scoring pass for downer number 28. Release from the penalty box, Bled Zeppelin now trying to maintain positional block. And totally lying, that's double XL. Lies, I've been telling you lies.
Great blocking from the Gatekeepers.
Another 5-point scoring pass for downer, number 28 for the Deep Valley Belligerents. Shunigo Fett now was pulling up on the backpack. Downer wisely calls it off. Deep Valley Belligerents now pulling out in front 30-13. This is a team timeout on behalf of the St. Louis Gatekeepers.
For this jam, the Gatekeepers have 1 in the box. Starting number 3 and number 11 is jammers. Both jammers still trying to get through the pack.
Mr. Dick goes in for a shutdown on number 11, Debaucherous Prime.
Good block from Deep Valley.
Again, Mr. Dick goes in for a hit on Debaucherous Prime, however, providing an opportunity here for Culture Shock, number 3, to pull through for lead jammer status.
Number 3 calls it. For this jam, both teams have a player in the box. 66-0 for the jammers. Great defense from both teams, as both jammers are still trying to get through the pack.
Nice work by JB, the Rockstar. He pulls way back. That recycles the jammer. Screech around way to the back of the pack for the Gatekeepers. We are going to have lead jammer assessed to O. Henry, number 0.
And the jam was called. Starting this jam, Deep Valley has 3 members in the box. The Gatekeepers have 2. Number 28 and EP2 are the jammers for this jam. Number 13 has to hold the jammer back. Great defense from the Gatekeepers as they're keeping the jammer back.
Percy Control was released from the penalty box. He's now as a reinforcement. We do have Shunero Fett pulls through, takes lead jammer position.
And he calls it. Deep Valley has 2 members in the box, as the Gatekeepers have 1. We have number 11. And number 3 is jammers.
So that's Culture Shock number 3 up against Debaucherous Prime. Culture Shock being very successful when he's been in the jammer position. He is running on 75%. However, he picks up a forearm penalty. He's headed to the penalty box. This is what Debaucherous Prime and the Gatekeepers are looking for. Debaucherous Prime going to pull around Mr. Dick, number 69, to take lead jammer position for the Gatekeepers.
The Gatekeepers have a power jam.
Mr. Dick with a huge force out right on the apex. He recycles way back. We are going to have number 81, Neil Death Experience, headed to the penalty box for the Gatekeepers as we watch the pack now come back together. Prime now recycled way to the back of the pack. He's going to go try to get around Mr. Dick, number 69, and number 33, Sloppy Joe. He does it on the outside lane as he pulls around number 40. Is he serious?
Deep Valley Jammer still in the box. And number 11 calls it.
And Sloppy Joe goes in for a huge hit. He's the pivot on the jammer for the Gatekeepers. He forces him to call off the jam. The Saint being waved back to the bench. You have a nice passive offense maneuvering here with Percy Control at the back of the pack. They're going to try to shut down number 3, Culture Shock, for the Deep Valley Belligerents. However, he escapes on the inside lane. Nice movement by Screecher number 66 as he pulls through, takes lead jammer position, calls it off. Puts some points on the scoreboard for the St. Louis Gatekeepers.
For this jam, the Gatekeepers have 3 in the box, which makes them have 1 blocker.
Oh, number 68, Batwing, going up against number 0, O. Henry. 3 while in the back there, trying to shut down Batwing. He's trying to muscle his way around Mr. Dick. Mr. Dick, the pivot now hitting the floor right around the apex, and we are going to have Batwing pull through, but he's not the lead jammer. That is then assessed to O. Henry, who wisely and immediately calls off the jam.
Gatekeepers have 2 in the box. Number 28 in EP2 for jammers.
2 wall. Line of defense trying to shut down Downer.
28 makes lead jam. Deep Valley.
Downer makes his way around. Double Excel, 3-1-4. We now have the pivot trying to shut down Shunigo Fett of the front of the pack. Fett's able to pull through on his initial non-scoring pass. However, on the scoring pass was Downer, number 28. He pulls down 4 more points, bringing the Deep Valley Belligerents to 44. The Gatekeepers currently sitting at 32.
We have number 11, number 69 as jammers.
Nat King Kill, the pivot for the Gatekeepers, holding the outside lane. Working with Skulls McCracken there up at the front of the pack. Mr. Dick has been assigned lead jammer status here for the Deep Valley Belligerents. He pulls through. Oh, huge.
Awesome.
Nat King Kill goes in for a huge hit on Mr. Dick, not able to take him out of play. Back block penalty now being assessed to Graves, number 13, for Deep Valley Belligerents. Oh, we got a cut track penalty on Mr. Dick. This is now Power Jam in favor of Debaucherous Prime. Huge force down by JV the Rockstar on Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime going to try to skirt around the outside. We have a little bit of a spill for the last line of defense. And a 5-point scoring pass for Debaucherous Prime.
Beautiful pass by number 11.
And really no opposition on that inside lane, and that's the path of least resistance. He pulls around number 40, Izzy Sirius, for a 5-point scoring pass, and again around Izzy Sirius. And the Gatekeepers successfully take the lead, 52 to 44. Skulls McCracken has been released from the penalty box. He's definitely given some good communication to his league mates. Another 5-point scoring pass for the Gatekeepers.
For this jam, we have number 28. Number 66.
Right, screech around up against Downer. Nice shutdown by Percy Control as he works with Saint. And number 73, Sweet Tooth.
Gatekeepers take lead jammer.
Screech around. Downer trying to make his way around. Number 73, Sweet Tooth, last line of defense. He gets recycled right to the middle of the pack as the Gatekeepers then form that formidable 3-wall up front of the pack as the Saint tries to bridge the pack to get his skaters to remain in play. Percy Control just staring down Downer. We do have the pivot. The Saint headed to the penalty box for the Gatekeepers.
And the Gatekeepers called the jam.
Gatekeepers at 71, Deep Valley Belligerents at 50, 21 points separating these teams with 7 minutes, 22 seconds left in the first period.
Starting this jam, the Deep Valley have 2 members in the box, while the Gatekeepers have 1. We have EP2 as jammer, and number 3.
Shunigo Fett against Culture Shock. Shunigo Fett on the inside lane takes lead jammer position really easily. I think right before the pivot line. Oh, force out on culture shock. Shinego Fett.
Deep Valley's Jammer still trying to get through the pack. Great defense from both. Great jammer on jammer action.
Shinego Fett going head to head with culture shock.
It's always nice to see some jammer on jammer action.
Oh, Shinego Fett with a force out. Culture shock just wait for the pack to come to him. Fett pulls around for another 5-point scoring pass on behalf of the St. Louis Gatekeepers. Fett was pushed to the infield and quickly calls off the jam. The Gatekeepers currently sitting at 84 to the Deep Valley Belligerents 50. And we have a team timeout now being called for the Deep Valley Belligerents. A huge thank you to Blaze Stream Media, who is participating today in making this accessible to all the fans at home in places like St. Louis and California. Blaze Stream Media does a lot for Derby and a lot for Rose City Rollers and men's roller derby, and it's greatly appreciated. Also, soon I will be drinking Viso energy drinks so I can get even more amped up, because I think that's important.
Score right now is 84 Gatekeepers, 50 Deep Valley. Starting this jam, both teams have a member in the box.
So again, like I mentioned before this bout, the Deep Valley Belligerents really coming in to show their stuff as they really want to win a spot to MRTA Championships in October.
We have number 11 and 0 as jammers. Both jammers are still trying to make it through the pack.
Defensive 3-wall, Sloppy Joe, the pivot, number 33, taking on Debaucherous Prime. We have O. Henry getting infield, and then he's going to get sucked up in the back of the pack. Debaucherous Prime is your lead jammer. And we're going to get a no pass, no penalty assist to O. Henry. Oh, Debaucherous Prime pulls through, puts his hands to his hips, calls off the jam.
Starting this jam, the Gatekeepers have 2 in the box, and Deep Valley has 1. Jammers for this jam. Number 28, Downer, and 66, Screech Around. Both jammers just trying to make it through the pack.
Oh, Sloppy Joe tries to go in for a hit. We're going to have Screech Around. He pulls around first. However, he takes a spill right on turn 3, but he is assessed lead jammer. Sloppy Joe now head to the penalty box. The pivot for Deep Valley as Mr. Dick, number 69, is released.
Some great defense by the Gatekeepers. They have 2 blockers. Deep Valley Jammer made it through the pack, number 28. As Screech Around's trying to make it through the pack, and he calls it.
Takedown on Screech Around. Calls off the jam. 3 minutes, 42 seconds left in the first period. 40 points now separating these two teams with the Gatekeepers in front. JB the Rockstar already lined up with Mr. Dick. And each team currently sitting 2 blockers in the penalty box.
We have number 68, Batwing, and Culture Shock, number 3, as jammers. And Batwing takes the lead jam, number 68, as Deep Valley Jammer goes into the box, which makes 3 members of the Deep Valley in the box.
Not the best of news for Deep Valley, as they are now working up against a power jam with a Batwing from the Gatekeepers. Batwing gets forced out by number 69, Mr. Dick. Batwing again.
Deep Valley's doing a great job blocking, and the Gatekeepers call it. Number 68 calls off the jam.
Mr. Dick goes in for that final hit, trying to stop the bleeding, forcing Batwing to call off the jam.
Starting this jam, Deep Valley has 2 members in the box, including their jammer.
We have an official review for the Deep Valley Belligerents. So Deep Valley Belligerents came in really strong, took that early initial lead. The Gatekeepers look like they're gonna end this first half with a pretty significant lead over the Deep Valley Belligerents. There are 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first period. So 50-point lead in favor of the Gatekeepers. Each team has a team timeout left, or 2 team timeouts left, as they've each utilized 1 in the first period. The refs now conferring about the official review. So the Gatekeepers all making a huddle here. Still in deliberation on that official review. Check out Kay's Bar and Lounge, a sponsor here for Portland Men's Roller Derby, Bridgetown Menace. Oh, interesting. An official review for the Gatekeepers. We're going for the marathon official timeout. We will have an open scrimmage at 5 o'clock, and then later this evening, the Puget Sound Outcasts will take on the Deep Valley Belligerents, and the final bout of the evening will be the Bridgetown Menace versus the St. Louis Gatekeepers. Yeah, so we're going to get a cut track penalty, and we're going to start it off with both the jammers in the box. However, Deep Valley Belligerents jammer is going to be released first. That's Culture Shock, number 3. We're going to use the passive offense move, and Culture Shock going to try to make his way around
the wall of Gatekeepers. And he makes it through, which makes him lead jammer, number 3, Culture Shock for Deep Valley.
Led Zeppelin working with Nat King Kill, along with Neil Death Experience in the pack here for the Gatekeepers. Oh, huge takedown on Culture Shock. However, Batwing having some issues of its own. He gets recycled to the back of the pack. And we're going to get a low block penalty assessed to Sloppy Joe, number 33, the pivot for Deep Valley Belligerents. 5 points on the scoreboard for Deep Valley.
For this jam, we have EP2, Shango Fett for the Gatekeepers as jammer, and number 16, Dr. Rotten for Deep Valley. Both jammers still trying to make it through the pack.
That's Dr. Rotten. First time we've seen him jam in the first period for Deep Valley. He got recycled way to the back of the pack. An assist by JP the Rockstar. However, we do have Shanego Fett. He pulls through. He incurs a high block penalty. Oh no, pardon me. That is not. That's a misconduct penalty. So this is a power jam in favor of Dr. Rotten, number 16. Formidable 3-wall up at the front of the pack, now formulated by the Gatekeepers. Double XL now trying to bridge the pack. Here's an opportunity for Deep Valley to shut down the gap. This will be the last jam of the first period. Dr. Rotten getting forced out of bounds, and he actually says hello to the crowd. Hello, Winch Warden. Hello, Suffer-So. Oh, he got a cut track penalty. There are 42 seconds left. That is going to release Shanego Fett from the penalty box. Oh, Mr. Dick goes in for a hit. Narrowly misses the margin. 5-point scoring pass for Fett as he pulls the Gatekeepers to 105. Sloppy Joe, the pivot, forced to allow Fett to get through. Fett gets another 5 points. That's going to bring the Gatekeepers to 110. The Belligerents sitting at 60, and we're now rolling into halftime. All right, we're done for the half. Although starting up, we are going to have the Deep Valley Belligerents sitting with their jammer in the penalty box.
For jammers, we have number 11 and number 28. Deep Valley has one member in the box.
Nat King Kill holding the outside lane there, working. With Led Zeppelin.
Great blocking from the Gatekeepers, keeping the jammer back, as number 11 takes lead jammer for the Gatekeepers.
Wreckin' Bill just dealt a hefty hit to Downer. He actually then goes to chase him down, makes, a different decision, then rejoins the pack.
And number 11 called the jam. Score is now 164, Gatekeepers, 64, Deep Valley.
An official timeout. And we're going to have the Gatekeepers coach. Oh, it's an official review on behalf of Deep Valley Belligerents. Each team gets one of these per 30-minute period. So we want to thank everybody here coming to the Rose City Rollers hangar at Oaks Park. There are a lot of things happening this weekend, Derby related, and I'm thankful that all of you are here to support these Men's Roller Derby Association teams as we move forward towards championships in October. The Gatekeepers coming all the way from St. Louis. And it's 7 o'clock. There will be a bout between the Deep Valley Belligerents and the Puget Sound Outcasts, followed up by Bridgetown Menace and the St. Louis Gatekeepers.
Starting this jam, we have number 3, Culture Shock, and number 68, Batwing is jammers. There are 2 members in the box from Deep Valley and 1 from the Gatekeepers.
Our DJ's playing L7. That reminds me of somebody from the Gatekeepers. I don't know, Magnum, PIMP.
And Batwing. Batwing from the Gatekeepers take lead jammer, as the Deep Valley jammer is still trying to make it through, and he makes it through. And the Gatekeepers jammer calls the jam.
A little over 23 minutes left in the final period of this bout. St. Louis Gatekeepers ahead a little over 100 points currently.
Starting this jam, we have number 0, O. Henry, and number EP2, Shango Fett. The Deep Valley has 2 members in the box.
JP Rockstar trying to hold down the line on the outside. He then turns around to face down his opponent. He forces him out right before turn 1. He's recycled to the back of the pack. But O. Henry having some trouble of his own at the front as the Gatekeepers knock him out on the far straightaway.
And the Gatekeepers take lead jammer. As Deep Valley's jammer is still trying to get through the pack.
Near-death experience going to the penalty box, I think.
Great defense from both teams, as the Gatekeepers still have lead jam.
Oh, huge tumble there by Chemtrail, number 76 on the straightaway. And interesting, we're gonna have Fett call it off after O. Henry pulls through on that initial non-scoring pass. A little communication happening here with the 30-second between jams.
For this jam, we have number 11 and number 28 is jammers. The Gatekeepers have 2 in the box.
Chemtrail with a nice force out there on Debaucherous Prime number 11. And lead jammer's going to be assessed to Downer number 28. Oh, a cut track penalty on Mr. Dick, number 69. He heads to the penalty box for the Deep Valley Belligerents. Downer pulls around Percy Control, number 82, on a scoring pass. And he looks back, calls off the jam. He gets 4 points, but 2 points on the scoreboard for the Gatekeepers.
For this jam, we have number 68, Batwing, and number 3, Culture Shock for jammers. The Gatekeepers have 2 members in the box, as Deep Valley has 1. Deep Valley's jammers getting held back by the Gatekeepers blockers. And Gatekeepers take lead jam, number 68, Batwing.
Alec Brawlin now pulling up the back. He's going to try to move to the front to protect the point. He goes in for a hit. Takedown on Culture Shock. 0 points. Ref solidarity.
For this jam, the Gatekeepers still have 2 members in the box, as Deep Valley has 1. We have number 28 for jammer, and EP2. Both jammers are still trying to make it through the pack.
Shenego Fett initially getting caught up at the back of the pack. We are going to have Downer pulling through to take lead jammer position as Fett getting caught up in a wall of red at the back. JP Rockstar goes in for a shutdown on Fett. Unsuccessful. 4 points on the score before Deep Valley Belligerents. Downer number 28.
And Deep Valley jammer calls off the jam. The current score is 73 Deep Valley and 177 the Gatekeepers.
Graves joining Dr. Rotten and Chemtrail along. And we're going to have another official timeout. So I can officially thank Kay's Bar and Lounge, Viso Energy Drinks, and Blaze Stream and Media. So the Deep Valley Belligerents coming out initially really, really strong. And about 15 minutes in, around, the tides turned and the Gatekeepers took lead and have maintained the lead score going into second half. And we're now sitting with 18 minutes, 2 seconds left in the second half of this bout. We're just having a reassessment of penalties here. Inquadable Hulk now sitting in the penalty box as Double Excel was released. That leaves Neil Death Experience and number 314 Double Excel on the track.
Started this jam with number 13 and number 11. as jammers. Both jammers are still trying to get through the pack as Deep Valley is getting great blocking by the Gatekeepers, and Deep Valley is now lead jammer, Graves, number 13.
It's an interesting change-up, though, for the Deep Valley Belligerents, as they hadn't utilized Graves as much on the jammer line, so it's turning out well for them. Graves now trying to power his way around. Number 86, Wreckin' Bill, and Double XL. Oh, unofficial timeout. Dun, 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 dun. We're gonna have a little conversation with our penalty box crew. I do want to thank all of the non-skating officials and officials for being here today. You do us a great service, and it is very appreciated, not only by myself as a commentator for roller derby, because you make my job that much easier, but you also maintain a lot of composure and work really hard to keep everyone safe and keep all the penalties in order. So thank you.
We're starting this jam with number 24 and number 69. Both teams have a member in the box.
Oh, Nat King Kill gonna make his way around the pivot. Sloppy Joe. We haven't seen him in high jammer rotation either. Mr. Dick gonna try to work at the back of the pack to shut down Nat King Kill. He pushes him to the infield. Nat King Kill is gonna make his way in front of Mr. Dick. Look at that, Mr. Dick. Nat King Kill with a 5-point scoring pass, elevating the Gatekeepers score by 5 points, 16 minutes, 35 seconds left in the second period. Led Zeppelin, Neil Death Experience, working the outside line. Skulls McCracken, working right in front of his jammer, Batwing, number 68.
And the Gatekeepers, Batwing takes lead jammer, as Deep Valley jammer O. Henry is still trying to get through the pack, sitting a wall of Gatekeepers.
I love the communication up there by number 99, Skulls McCracken, as he's yelling to his teammates. And we are going to have Batwing pulling around again. Sloppy Joe, number 33, functioning twice as the last line of defense. Oh, Henry. He pulled through around Bled Zeppelin, number 618. And we have 2 points on the scoreboard for the Gatekeepers.
Starting this jam, the Gatekeepers have their jammer in the box. Correction, Deep Valley has their jammer in the box, as the Gatekeepers jammer is EP2. And he makes it through, and he is the lead jammer. So this is a power jam for the Gatekeepers. Shenango fit.
Oh, and the pack is back there. Del from Hell reaching out his arms like he's going to give them a great big hug. Fett is the lead jammer. He tries to get around Graves on the inside line. Mr. Dick tries to go in for a hammer and nail. He misses. And now Sloppy Joe again, last line of defense. They're going to try to bridge the pack here for Deep Valley. 3 more points on the scoreboard for the St. Louis Gatekeepers. 13 minutes, 49 seconds left in the second period.
Starting this jam, we have number 11 for the Gatekeepers, and Deep Valley Jammer still in the box. And he's out.
Oh,
So we have O. Henry, number 0, the jammer for the Deep Valley.
So the jammer for the Deep Valley Belligerents is O. Henry, number 0. Chemtrail trying to work to assist his jammer through. Oh, nice push assist. So we're going to get failure to reform on near-death experience for the Gatekeepers. He's headed to the penalty box at the 5-point scoring pass for Debaucherous Prime.
And the Gatekeepers called the jam. For this jam, we have number 3, Culture Shock, and number 68, Batwing. Gatekeepers have 2 in the box, as Deep Valley has 1. And the Gatekeepers take lead jammer, Batwing.
Oh, Culture Shock getting hung up on the Saint. Front of the pack, he recovers quickly though. Batwing gonna try to get around Chemtrail number 76. JP Rockstar now working the front of the pack, and Batwing scores 2 points and calls off the jam. We're gonna have a discussion about penalty box, penalty tracking, and ensuring that all our cues have tails.
For this jam, we have EP2 and number 28 as jammers. The Gatekeepers still have 2 in the box.
I kind of like that strategy by the Gatekeepers, because prior to the actual whistle, once the 5 second is done, they actually rush towards the pivot line, which I think is trying to encourage the other jammer to actually get an illegal procedure and yield position. So it's kind of an interesting strategy.
This jam, we have number 3 and number 11. And the Gatekeepers still have 2 in the box. Jammers are still trying to get through the pack.
Pile up of Chemtrail, almost taking out Culture Shock, his own jammer. The honor is going to go to Debaucherous Prime. We're going to have it JB up at the front. Oh, huge hit there by number 24, Nat King Kill. Oh, but we have Neil Death Experience with a cut track penalty. He's headed to the penalty box. Gatekeepers with 3 more points on the scoreboard. It's very interesting because oftentimes penalties, the amount of penalties you have, really impede the point scoring. It just goes to show that the offense for the Gatekeepers is very strong.
For this jam, we have number 68, Batwing, and number 28, Downer. Both jammers are still trying to make it through the pack. Both teams are doing a great defense, and Deep Valley Downer takes lead jammer.
Oh, we're gonna get a low block penalty on Batwing. This is a power jam for Downer for Deep Valley Belligerents. Oh, and he pushes his way around the Saint. That's gonna be a 5-point scoring pass for the Deep Valley Belligerents. And again, numbers working in favor on the track, in favor of Deep Valley Belligerents. You have the Saint trying to bridge, allowing Percy Control to try to take down Downer, working out in his favor as he does a little sternum hit. Downer trying to push him around. He pushes through on the inside for another 5-point scoring pass. That's 10 points on the scoreboard for Downer from the Deep Valley Belligerents. And again, working the offense. Oh! Huge hit by number 99, Skulls McCracken. Sometimes the penalty is worth it. Downer pulls through for another 5 points for the Deep Valley Belligerents and calls off the jam.
Starting this jam, we have number 3, Culture Shock, and the Gatekeepers jammers in the box.
Deep Valley Belligerents' game has changed quite a bit since I saw them at the Big O earlier in the season. They've really minimized and cut down on a lot of the penalties. Penalties were a huge issue for them at the Big O as they had multiple skaters fouling out for 7 trips and for egregious misconduct. So that's not happening tonight. And here we have Culture Shock, number 3. Lead jammer.
Number 68, Batwing, is the jammer for the Gatekeepers.
Four points on scoreboard for Culture Shock for Deep Valley Belligerents. Calls it off before Batwing can put points on the scoreboard. Pretty comfortable lead, though, on behalf of the Gatekeepers with 6 minutes, 18 minutes left in the second period.
Starting this jam, we have EP2 and 0.
Oh, Henry recovers as he gets over Double Excel, who took a trip to the floor. This is another status of lead jammer assigned to the Deep Valley Belligerents, trying to turn the tide just a little bit, saying, we ain't going out like that.
Gatekeepers jammer cannot get through the pack of the Deep Valley blockers.
Oh, Double Excel goes in for a hit. And number 99, Skulls McCracken, trying to maintain position. We're going to get Henry through for a 5-point scoring pass. That is going to bring the Deep Valley Belligerents over the 100 mark. Oh, Henry trying to muscle his way around Double Excel, but again, Double Excel working with the Saint and Skulls McCracken. And I believe we're going to have an official review, potentially. I could be wrong, though. I could be spreading rumors and lies.
Timeout by the Gatekeepers.
It's going to turn into an official review. Hey, they didn't make a liar out of me that time. I wonder what they're going to talk about. And just in case you all don't know at home, it's very warm in this building. And Red Plague and I happen to be sitting a considerable bit higher than the skaters. It's a good thing we're not moving very much. Again, it's a real pleasure to see how teams develop and change over time. St. Louis Gatekeepers, currently sitting in that second spot. They did really well at championships last year. They, continue to maintain just some of the most excellent skating ability and teamwork in men's roller derby. And it's nice to watch teams develop like Deep Valley coming up in a much different sort of scene and trying to make a name for themselves here today. It'll be interesting to see what happens as we go on to watch the Outcasts, who took a defeat to the Menace earlier today, and see what the Deep Valley Belligerents bring to the table against the Puget Sound Outcasts.
We are still on an official timeout.
Yeah, they just want to make sure they have everything in order, making sure that, things are being assessed appropriately. Del from Hell now conversing with captains, coaches. And he says, we're off.
Starting this jam, we have number 28, number 11. Both teams have one player in the box.
Nat Kingkill, the pivot for the Gatekeepers. Working with Near Death Experience as they try to shut down Downer, number 28. Oh, and we have some reinforcements. Released from the penalty box, Led Zeppelin.
Number 11 with the Gatekeepers have a lead jam.
Sometimes just a little hiatus from the game can shift the momentum a great deal. The Deep Valley Belligerents were doing a nice job holding on to that lead jammer position over and over and over. Sometimes just putting something else in the mix can sort of shut that down. 4 minutes, 18 seconds left in the second period.
Starting this jam, we have number 3 and number 68. Number 3 is Culture Shock and Batwing 68.
We've never seen this before. Dr. Rotten holding the outside line for the Deep Valley Belligerents, working with Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe goes to try to shut down the pivot for the Gatekeepers. However, the Gatekeepers' Batwing pulls through first. The Saint now trying to work on a Culture Shock. Culture Shock just struggling to get around. And Double XL was doing a nice job bridging. Must be the money.
Timeout, Deep Valley. This is one of the first jams that we have 0 players in the box.
Currently, yes, that is the case. It's like announcer karma. You say something and then all of a sudden things shift. Happens to me all the time.
For this jam, we have O. Henry.
Tara Armov would say, "You're welcome."
And Nat King Kill, number 24, is jamming for the Gatekeepers.
Not a lot of time left. Quite a few points separating these teams. Testament, though, to the Deep Valley Belligerents. Fighting nature, refuse to give in. Oh, that was beautifully executed on behalf of the Gatekeepers. They had the 4-wall at the back near the jammer line. One blocker goes forward to create a hole, and they trap the jammer from the opposing team. That's how you do it. Nat King Kill through on a scoring pass for 4 points. O. Henry going in to try to put some points on the scoreboard. Huge takedown, though. Woo. 5-point scoring pass here for Nat King Kill. So O. Henry gets recycled way to the back of the pack as the Saint is going to bridge it way to the back there for the Gatekeepers. Nat King Kill pulls through for another 5-point scoring pass. And the Deep Valley Belligerents then walling up. Trying to shut down Nat King Kill. O. Henry having some difficulties of his own. He gets knocked out by Saint. The Saint, even. Icky keeping an eye on the outside pack lane as Nat King Kill with another 4 points on the scoreboard for the Gatekeepers. 1 minute, 31 seconds left on the period clock. But it's all determined by the jam clock in the end anyway.
Starting this jam, we have number 28, Downer, and EP2 as jammers. Both jammers are still trying to get through the walls of blockers.
Uh-oh, power jam in favor of Fett for the Gatekeepers as Downer now headed to the penalty box for a cut track penalty. And that's not such a great thing for the Deep Valley Belligerents. Deep Valley Belligerents now trying to shut down Fett at the front. JB goes in for a shutdown. He's working with Sloppy Joe. We have some bridging happening by Graves. We're gonna get an out of play warning and we're gonna have 5-point scoring pass for Shenego Fett. Yeah, he was just waiting for the period clock to come to an end, puts his hands to his hips. That was the end. The unofficial final score, 113 points for Deep Valley Belligerents, 267 for the St. Louis Gatekeepers. I think it's safe to say that the St. Louis Gatekeepers are victorious. So put your hands together for the St. Louis Gatekeepers. And never again will I work off a faulty roster. Keep those hands out. A valiant effort by the Deep Valley Belligerents! So they were just giving some love to the Gatekeepers, doing a little cheer for them. If you want to see the Deep Valley Belligerents play once again, they take on the Outcasts at 7 p.m., I believe. And then following that, you can watch the Gatekeepers against your hometown team, the Bridgetown Menace.
All the skaters did a wonderful job today bouting. Good job, guys.